Hi everybody, it's Gina. Welcome to the Library Mouse, and today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. And in honor of Valentine's Day, let me fix this camera. I'm going to do a tag. It was just given to me yesterday by Suey at Suey's Book Banter. It is the Love Hearts book tag. It was created by at What's Just Reading, and this looks like a fun little tag, so I thought that I would do it really quick before I have to start work. So the first prompt is my favorite romance book. This was really hard. I typically don't read romances that you typically think of as a romance. The books that I like might have a romantic element, but it's not really the genre. So, the first thing that came to mind was Eleanor Oliphant. I think it's Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I adore that book, and I love Eleanor and Raymond in that book. He is the most patient, sweetest guy with such a big heart. I love how he brings her out of her shell. I love that book, and I love the romance part of that book. And I think what I like about it is it's not just all love and flowers and physical attraction. It's the slowness of them getting to know each other and being able to accept the quirkiness of the other person. And I love that about that book. So that would be my favorite romance book. The second prompt is Be Happy, a book that makes me happy every time I read it. There's a lot of books that make me happy when I reread them, because obviously I only reread books that make me happy. But I've talked about this book so often and I adore it. It is The Book of Pleasures. No, A Year of Pleasures by Elizabeth Berg. I love the book because it follows a woman who has lost her husband, and she has decided to just change her life. She sells her townhouse. She moves to a small town, buys a big old country house, and learns to just take pleasure in the everyday things in life. And I think it's a good message. I like to reread it to remind myself to do that, even in hard times. And I love the way Elizabeth Berg fleshes out her characters, and this one in particular, you just feel like you know them so well. So yeah, that would be a book that makes me happy every time I read it. A Year of Pleasures by Elizabeth Berg. Date me, a character that you would date. I would date Calvin from Lessons in Chemistry. I love him. He is such a great romantic lead. And I can't remember the woman's name. That's pretty bad, but I remember his name. I just really like him. I like how he stands up for her. Yeah, I would date Calvin from Lessons in Chemistry. Text me, would you date a non-reader? That one's hard. I don't think that I could date someone who, I don't know how to say this. I really looks down on reading, but feels like it's a waste of time. I couldn't date someone who has a negative attitude toward reading. Let's put it that way. I always prefer to read or to date someone who is a reader. My husband is a reader. He reads all the time. What we read is the exact opposites. He loves nonfiction science things to read. Like, he can read nonfiction science books and articles all day long. And my eyes just glaze over when I read that kind of stuff. He loves fantasy and he loves science fiction. And those are the two genres that I don't enjoy. But what I do like about being married to a reader is that we can both sit in a room and read, and the other person doesn't think that you're boring or they're not wanting you to get up and do something. They understand the pleasure that you get from reading, and I think that's important. Dream on. A favorite romantic setting that would be an ideal date. Anything outdoors, I think, is an ideal date. I know when I was listening to Suey, she was like, I'm not a hiker, but that is a great idea for a date. Although, disclaimer, I would not go off into the woods on a date with someone I just met. I'm always up for a little coffee shop date, picnic in the park, but I really do enjoy being outdoors. A walk around the city, taking in city sights. I also love museums. I don't know how romantic it would be, but going to a nice museum and walking around and discussing what's in there, I think that's romantic, actually. I mean, you don't always need waterfalls and beaches and things like that to be romantic. Okay, so the next prompt is kiss me, a favorite romantic scene in a book. And I would have to say that is from, let me fix this. I would say that is from Little Women, and it is the scene where Jo and Professor Bear get engaged in the rain under the umbrella. I love that scene. It's sweet, it's romantic, it's perfect for Jo, and it just makes me happy that they found each other. So if you have not read Little Women, you need to read Little Women. Also, I loved the Winona Ryder movie adaptation. I really felt like that was more true to the book than some of the other movie adaptations, especially the earlier ones. The next one is Let's Party, 3 book characters you'd invite to a wedding. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking more of who would I invite to a party, but a wedding works. Like, who would I want sitting at my table? So the first person I thought of was Jo from Little Women, because she's feisty. She would be a lot of fun, I think, at a wedding. The other person is Liz Gilbert from Eat, Pray, Love. She's the author of Eat, Pray, Love. She's also obviously the character because it's a memoir. She is so well spoken and so intelligent, and I would love to just sit and talk with her about deep, meaningful things. Because I feel like that's her. And if you ever watch her on Instagram, read her book, I mean, she really truly thinks deeply about things, and I would love to have a conversation with her. The other person is Frances Mays. She wrote Under the Tuscan Sun. She is obviously the character in it because it is about her going to Italy and buying that dilapidated house and renovating it and what her life is like. And I just wanted to sit and talk with her at the table about that, like DIYing a house in Italy and buying property in Italy, and what is her life like in Italy, because she's very much into that, but she's also it looks like a wonderful hostess, and she's very much a foodie, and so I would like to pick her brain about all of those things. And I think those three women together Joe being a younger Joe, Frances being right now, she's an older woman, and then Liz, who I think is around my age. It would just be a nice mix of women to sit and talk with. The next one is You Rock, a romance book I'd recommend. So nothing comes off the top of my head. Except, like I said, my favorite romance book would be my Eleanor Oliphant book, and I would always recommend that book. Be Mine, a book that I want to own and read. I have this written down. I think it's Wild Dark Shore. Let me double check. This here, and it is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. It's being billed as an eco thriller. So it is about a man named Dominic Salt and his 3 children. They live on a tiny island on the shore of Antarctica, and it was home to the world's largest seed bank. Used to be full of researchers, but now because of the sea levels rising, the Salt family are the only inhabitants now on this island. And then a mysterious woman washes ashore during this really bad storm, and they nurse this woman, Rowan, back to life. But there's more going on. There's some mystery and some intrigue. It sounds like a really interesting concept for a book, so I'm looking forward to reading that when it comes out. So that would be my pick for a book that I am looking forward to reading. Okay, on that note, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for tagging me, Suey. Happy Valentine's Day. I don't know if you can hear my cats. I put a new rug down in my guest bedroom, and they've all claimed spots on it, and they're all growling at each other. I have a guest coming to stay in that room today, so she's going to have to keep the door shut. Anyway, this was a really fun tag. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. Go find some great books. Get out of the house. Do something fun today. And I will see you on the next video. Happy reading.